Welcome to this edition of the BRSN Insider now. Softball coach Paul Hunt. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Hey Dakota, thanks for having me.
You guys took your spring break trip to Arizona. You guys went 5-5. Talk about what that trip did for the team.
Well, really, it's just great to get them together for the week. They get to spend a lot of time together. Really creates a bond that's going to let us go through the battles of our conference schedule, which gets to be a little grueling. Particularly this year, kind of feels like we're playing at least 3 games a week, pretty much from here on out. The other thing that's really great about it is we played high-level competition. It's really nice to be put into situations where we have to compete and play full games. A little bummed to actually leave there 5-5. We gave up a couple games late, a couple on extras, and I think that was a really good thing for our team, though, because we were put in situations where we have to learn how to pull out tight games. And after last year, we lost 10 one-run ball games, and it's really important for us to edge out those close ones, find ways to close out games with leads.
And you came back, you went to Kansas Westland. You actually didn't play that on Kansas Westland's campus because of the weather, but you guys came away with the sweep. Talk about what you saw in those 2 games.
Well, and really it ended as we left Arizona. So we run-ruled Waldorf and then beat number 15 St. Francis in the country on that last day. And that momentum coming back just really carried over into Kansas Westland. Bats have really been alive, and what's really great about our order right now is no matter which lineup we're putting together, we've got players that can hit 1 through 9. And there's not that spot in the order where it's like, okay, we've got to try to find a way to produce. The question is just who's going to step up and go. Really fortunate and thankful for McPherson to allow us onto their field. They built that field. I think it's just 2 years old now. And to be on that turf field and not on quicksand of where everybody else is kind of feeling like. But just taking advantage of what other teams are giving us. When we're given opportunities, being able to put pressure on defenses has really been key.
And speaking of that, your 9-hole hit, you talked about that. Your 9-hole hitter gets Player of the Week. Lily Ross got Player of the Week for her performance against Kansas Westland. Just talk about her and what she means to the team.
Well, Lily's definitely been a leader for us for the past 2 years. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I was just talking to a couple of our supporters about Lily this morning, and the only thing that bums me out about Lily is we only got her for 2. I wish she could have been here for all 4. She's a Neosho County transfer, and defensively, she just soars up that whole middle. Right now, going into this year, we had a lot of competition for our second base shortstop. We really didn't know what that was going to look like for us throughout the year. And she has separated herself. She has great range to both sides. Definitely takes away base hits and keeps doubles to be singles, which is really, really great. But what's nice about it is she has a great approach at the plate. She's very, very smooth, can hit the ball to all sides of the field, and knows what she needs to do to execute. So if we need a ground ball to the right side to score a run, she is going to hit a ground ball to the right side. If we need to go gap to gap, she's going to play gap to gap, and that says a lot about Lily Ross.
And you started off conference play. You got your home opener in finally, a sweep over MNU. Just talk about that. You guys got out to some early leads, and you guys held those leads.
Absolutely. It was nice to just see that offense explode early in game 1. I was really impressed. We did all of that first inning with 4 runs scored, all with 2 outs. And that just goes to the depth of the depth of that lineup again. That bottom half really stepped up and produced. Abby Hyde, who is a player that right now just numbers don't tell the story on her. Her first, I'm going to guess 15 at-bats, she probably had 7 or 8 balls that were just really squared up well and hit hard and just found a glove on the other end. And now we're starting to see some of that luck turn, and she's still squaring the ball up, hitting it well. And for her to score that first run and start that momentum in that, I thought was really, really big. And then really impressed by Erin on the mound. Something that I've come to count on with Erin is no matter what situation she gets put into, she's going to be calm and collected on the mound. There was an inning there where they were loaded with nobody out, and A defense was able to get out of that inning with just giving up one run, and that's a trade we'll take all day.
So that seemed like a really crucial point in that game where it was the bases loaded out and just giving up the one run. You guys have been so good defensively this year, too. Talk about how good your defense has been.
What's really nice about it is I credit a lot of it to what our fall did. We had a lot more depth this year than what we did a year ago, and at every position, people were being challenged. Every day, players had to come and compete, and it's showing now. Tiffany Ray's another one that I think gets overlooked some. She's been doing such a nice job at first base. She picks just about everything, so that gives our infielders can make sure they're going to let a ball go. They know if they put one in the dirt, she's coming out with it. And
we'll talk about the weather, because when I got out to your field before that game against MU, I thought there was zero chance you were playing. Talk about, one, how frustrating it's been trying just to get to play, and how taxing it is doing all the field work.
Well, this year has been particularly challenging. It's not just the wet; it's been the wet and the cold and the snow. We took 75 loads from a gator off of our field before we left for spring break, just to try to get games in now, and that just has been a little frustrating. We're at a spot right now where we've had 2 games on our home field. We've had 1 practice, and that has been definitely a challenge. And the really Game Time Athletics over in Weston just does a nice job of working with us, helping us get everything that we need here to take care of the field. And I can't say enough, between our players that help out, Coach Murphy, who added us this year on staff, has been such a great addition, and the amount of work she's done to help that field be ready is absolutely tremendous.
You play Clark on Friday. That game got moved up from Sunday due to weather, and you play Mount Mercy on Saturday. What are your expectations for this weekend?
Well, and really what we keep telling our girls is we just need to take care of us. If we take care of the little things, then I think we're really going to be all right and be very, very competitive in this conference. I think one of the great things about the Heart of America, especially on the softball side, is there's not an easy doubleheader in the mix. So I think if we can take care of what we can control and show up, then I think we're going to have a very successful weekend. The weather on Friday looks absolutely awesome. And, Saturday we're doing an 11 o'clock start, which is very out of routine for everybody. But it looks like some showers might be coming in later. And a big shout out to West Platte High School over in Weston, who is looking at helping us out if we get into trouble on Saturday about maybe playing on that new turf facility they have as well. So.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Absolutely, thank you so much. And a quick little shout out to Coach Moody and his guys. It's an awesome trip for them in the national tournament, and they play tonight, and we're all going to make that trip over there. So best of luck to our basketball guys tonight.
Shakespeare once said, "Some are born great, and some have greatness thrust upon them. The rest of us," he said, "have to achieve greatness." We know exactly what he means. Be not afraid of greatness. Achieve it. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on this edition of the BRSN Insider, Director of Cross Country and Track and Field Henry Brun. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to go back about 3 weeks and talk about indoor nationals. 5 All-Americans, 1 on the women's side, 4 on the men's side.
Nationals was a good experience for us. Both of our men's and women's 4x8 relays did considerably well. Our women's side, they were 18th out of 19 going in of the teams that went. They ended up finishing 10th. They were 2 seconds out of making the finals, and they improved on their relay time by 13 seconds. So they had a huge improvement at the meet. On the men's side, they improved their time by 9 or 10 seconds there. And then they snuck into the finals. I thought that they could. They had the potential to do it. Made it into the finals, and they were All-Americans, so it was exciting to see them race. On the women's side, in particular with the multis, I would just say in multis in general, Shelly and Maddie did all right. They had a lot of adversity to overcome. They didn't have the greatest of days, but Maddie was able to pull out a good 800 at the end of that pentathlon and sneak in a top 8 finish. And then for Jeremiah in the heptathlon, it was really good for him just to get that national exposure.
Yeah.
He had a couple personal bests in some events, and I mean, just to be there as a top 16 finisher, because only top 16 get to go in the multis, and for him not to finish 16th was amazing. Just to go there and compete and beat some people at the national stage, give you some motivation for outdoor. And then some of the other individual events, they were there, got some exposure, had some decent days, nothing super exceptional in order to put them on the podium, but it's the motivation they need for outdoor.
You guys go into outdoor this coming weekend. Talk about that transition from indoor to outdoor.
So there were 3 different transition periods for some of the athletes on the team. So transition period 1 was after indoor conference. Those who weren't going to the national meet took a couple weeks off to refresh before we started training again. There was a group of people who were going to last chance meets. We talked previously about those and the outcomes of those. Those people we were talking about, if they had qualified for nationals, they kept training. If they didn't, their 2-week period started a week and a half later. And then those who went to nationals, the 14 who went, their 2-week period started after indoor nationals. So now we're all on the same page, getting ramped up for this outdoor season. And it's just as quick as the indoor season with 5 or 6 meets. And, they got some rest, and spring break kind of fell right in there too. So they're able to go home, see their family, or see some sun or whatever it is they did over spring break, and come back with a clear mindset and get ready to train again.
How have your outdoor training sessions gone so far?
Pretty good. The weather's warmed up. The sun stays out a little thanks to daylight savings time, and so we're out at the track and we're getting things done. We are doing some field event work outside instead of trying to do it inside because of how nice the weather is. So they're getting to benefit from the weather as well.
Yeah.
Just getting on the track and racing to simulate some things for the track size that you compete on on a Saturday. Helps out a lot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the athletes on the team, with us having a younger team in general, it was nice just to have that break before they started training.
Starting on the women's side, who are some of the key contributors you see for the women?
Maddie is going to be big for us in the multi. She can do the hurdles. She can do the long jump. We've got Talia, who is a freshman for us, and she did all right in the 16 and 200, but she's going to be a bigger role outdoors. And then with the throws, we've got some throwers who can get into some throwing events because there's more throwing events outdoors. Yeah. So give us some more points there. And then our middle and long distance runners. I mean, the girls who run in the 4x8 relay that went to the national meet, they're going to be stepping in pretty big for us in just various middle and long distance events, and the 4x8 again. So.
And then the men's side, who do you expect to be some of the key contributors?
It's a little bit of everybody. One of the things I will say about the men's expectations for outdoors is that we're expecting our men's sprints to step up quite a bit. Indoors, we fell short of what we wanted to do at the conference level, and even at the national level, getting some people maybe there to see that and get that experience. But going to the outdoors, we have a 4x1 relay that went to the outdoor national meet last year. 2 of those legs are being replaced with freshmen this year.
Yeah.
Who are competitive freshmen, so we still have Trey and still have Jarrell on that relay. And then we just have various people, Jeremiah trying to go back to nationals, getting the multis, JD, and just the crew of middle and long distance guys that we have. The momentum they've had since August with cross country has been phenomenal, and they're just continuing to feed off of that going into the outdoor season.
You guys go down to Emporia this weekend. What are your expectations for your first outdoor meet?
We don't typically compete this early. Usually we compete a couple weeks from now. We go to the Baker relays. But with how competitive our team is, I've decided to bring a handful of our athletes to Emporia. This meet is going to be extremely competitive.
Yeah.
So we're taking, out of the entire roster, I want to say there's 28 people who are going. And those are the people who were on the bubble for nationals, went to nationals, conference champion, top 3 of the conference, school record holders, whatever that may be on the roster. But we're kind of just expecting to go out there and compete with the best. I'd say there may be 1 or 2 national marks this early that we may get if we're lucky, but we're still going to be a little rusty just because we started the outdoor training session maybe a couple weeks ago right out of the spring break. So it'll be nice to get their feet wet, and it's going to be a competitive meet, so they're going to have to bring their A game right away. And then the next week at Baker, the whole team gets to go, and everyone kind of gets to do some other events they don't typically get to do, or they all get some good quality marks just for conference to start the full team season off. So,
all right, Coach, thank you very much.
All right, appreciate it.
Director of Cross Country and Track and Field, Henry Brun, on the BRSN Insider.
A wise man once said, "The world offers you comfort, but you were not made for comfort." You were made for greatness. Discover what you were made for. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on the BRSN Insider with baseball coach Eric Peterson. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll go back. Last weekend, you took 2 out of 3 from MNU, your first conference home series. What did you see through those 3 games?
Oh, well, we just don't panic. Like I keep saying, this group is pretty just relaxed, and they know they're going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
And they don't panic in the middle innings. We didn't really hit particularly well in the third game, right?
Yeah.
After we get beat in the second game on Saturday. But we just didn't panic. We relaxed. We knew the offense was coming.
Yeah.
We got some good performances on the mound that keep us right there, right? If we don't get those, I'm not sure that we have the opportunity to come back. So, I think that's a twofold equation, right? Our pitchers know that we're going to score at some point, right?
Yeah.
And it's been early, right? But game 2 on Saturday, it was a little bit later, right? And so they just knew to hang in there and just wait and give us a chance to win. And the pitching side did that.
What's it like for a pitcher knowing that offense is going to come eventually? You just have to keep your team within striking distance.
Oh, well, it makes your job extremely easy, right? You just know that you have one focus, and that's just to keep doing your job, right? Keep throwing strikes, keep competing in the zone. We played 970 defense, right? So we know that we're going to get good defense. Put the ball in play, right? And don't walk people. Don't give free bags up.
Yep.
And it's easy to pitch that way, right, when you can count on those other 2 parts of the game.
Guys are off to a 5-2 start in conference play. How important is it to get off to a good start in conference?
Well, it's important to get off to a good start at any point, right? But especially in conference, right? And we're trying to figure out who the conference is, right?
Yeah.
Pretty early in the year, but it's always nice to be 5-2 and kind of get a head start and know where you got to get to at the end of the year to be in a good position to make a run in the conference tournament.
You guys had a non-conference game against Hastings. You guys won that one 12-2. Through some guys that maybe you hadn't got a good look at yet. What did you see from your team on Monday?
Well, they were prepared, ready to go, and a lot of that credit goes on our kids, right? And a lot of credit goes to Coach Hay and Coach Stillwell, having those guys ready to play and having them prepared for when their number is called and being successful when they get that chance, right? We did catch Hastings in a little bit of a weird situation where we're right in the middle of their spring break. They just got done playing on the weekend. So I'm not sure that we saw the best arms, but you know what, you got to take advantage of those situations, and we certainly did.
We'll talk about Michael Slayton for a moment. Hitting over 500, 9 home runs at this point in the year. Just talk about what makes Michael Slayton so good.
Well, confidence helps, right? And Michael's not short of any confidence, and it's in a good way, right? He doesn't show up his teammates. It's not an awkward thing, right? As a team, we expect him to do great things, right? And if we're going to do good things with this team, that expectation is going to have to start with those guys, right? And our leaders. And Michael's obviously one of our offensive leaders. Gets us started going right away. He's on some kind of a streak, hitting a home run in the first game of the series and his first AB or something silly. But, it's fun to watch him, right? It's fun to watch the guys that are around him and the impact that he has on our team, right? And we've only seen half of it, right? He hasn't been in the field yet. And we're getting closer and closer to that. We're getting closer and closer to him making an impact on the mound, right? But we'll take what he's given us so far.
Talk about, I know you're moving him from infield to outfield. Talk about how that transition has gone for him.
Well, one of the things that we wanted to do in the fall, right, is identify what we have and make us more athletic or as athletic as we possibly could be. I know that he played the left side of the infield in the past, but we feel like he's one of our best athletes, right? And then on the field, your best athletes tend to be up the middle of the field, right? And we didn't know what we were going to get from Logan Finley. He was recovering from a major knee injury, so we wanted to make sure that we had depth in the outfield and to put one of our best athletes out there where he could go run around and chuck the ball like he can, right? It puts him in a more comfortable situation where really he could just think about hitting. It's turned out now that's all he's doing, so he could just hit, right? So eventually he'll get back to playing the outfield and creating some more depth out there.
You guys are getting a lot of contributions from some of the younger guys on the team, Jacob Pavlak, Drew Piontek, Danny Favaza. Nathan Hubert. Talk about how important it is for those younger guys to make the impact that they're making.
Sure. Well, when we first got here in the fall, we said that we didn't care who played, right? We didn't care if you were a freshman or you're Andrew Richards and a 12th-year senior, right? Here forever. We don't care who you play. Like, we don't care. We want the right guy, right? And we'll go with the hot hand. And fortunately, through our 16 games, it's been young guys so far. And we give them the freedom to play, right? And to really go be who they are. And really put no parameters on them. So,
in your first year, a top 25 poll came out this week, receiving votes for the first time since 2007. What does that mean for you to have that happen in your first year?
Well, I don't really know what that means for us, right? It's really a compliment to our players, right? Without them, we do nothing, right? And I had a couple of coaches in the area who were Raiders reach out to me before the rankings came out and said that we were close. And I was like, I don't even know what that means, right? Like, we're just going to focus on Missouri Valley, right? We're going to focus on Friday night and take care of that and then move on to the next game and then work our way to the conference tournament and do the best we can there. And then hopefully that puts us in a good position to be in the regionals, right? And keep playing. So that's been our goal all along.
So you guys head down to Missouri Valley tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. Your first true road conference series of the year. What do you know about Missouri Valley, and what are your expectations?
We know that they like to run, right? They're going to try to steal bags, and we're going to have to control the running game pretty well. But really, we just worry about ourselves, right?
Yeah.
If we continue to do the things that we're going to do, it's going to give us a chance to win, right?
Yeah.
We hit the way that we hit. We always got a chance to win.
Oh, yeah.
Play defense, 970 defense, and then pitch it well enough, right? We've been hanging in there, right?
Yep.
Pitch it well enough and give our team a chance to win. I like our chances on the weekend.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Best
Go
luck to you
Ravens.
this weekend.